to Beyond the Veil with Adina. I am Adina, and you guys are officially Beyond the Veil with me. Happy Friday the 13th. Happy Day of Venus to all of you. Blessings upon all of you. If this is your first time here because you just so happen to see somebody on YouTube going live and you decided to take a gander, welcome. I am your resident hostess and your resident oracle, medium, wise woman, woo lady, psychic, all of those things, entertainer, storyteller. And I understand that that's not everybody's cup of tea, so I invite you to spit it out and leave peacefully so that you don't disrespect my community of believers here. And if that is your thing, I invite you to stay. I assure you, you will find yourself amongst like minded individuals here. To all of my return viewers, OG subscribers, blessed babies, bush watchers, and everything in between, happy Friday, happy day of Venus to you. Blessings upon all of you. JD, I put your request in there. So the Rihanna and Chris Brown thumbnail that you saw, that was a request from one of my mods, JD. And so everybody come on in. Happy Friday. Happy day of Venus and Friday the 13th to all of you. Good afternoon, wherever you are. Good morning or good night. Please let me know how you're doing on your way in. I am just going to give you guys a few minutes to assemble, and then we'll begin. I have a few things to discuss today. We're going to get business out of the way first. I have launched the new or renewed tier that I mentioned, the new kind of program here on Beyond the Veil. This is a tier that already existed. It was called the doctorate degree tier, but I have renamed, reshaped, and restructured that tier because it is sort of a course or a program. I'll say it's a journey. The inner courts tier is a journey. It has been relaunched because I did update the perks and I had to submit that for review, and YouTube reviewed it. Approved it last night just in time for me to release it today. So the inner courts tier is officially reavailable and it has been restored for everybody who was already a part of what it used to be called the doctorate degree tier. And our first live will be tonight at 6 o'clock. It will be an introduction to what that tier and what that journey will be like. I don't want to call it a tier, I want to call it a journey. And we will begin that tonight. So I'm excited. That tier has all the same perks as any other membership tier, such as members only live streams, members only shorts. The shorts will be happy birthday, bread is good. The shorts will be shorts of ceremonies that I do for this tier. So that is when I take little clips of the rituals and ceremonies that I do and I post it for you guys. That's what the members only tier will be for this ceremony because I added a custom perk, and that is monthly free. Every month free ceremony. Yes, I said it. I know I'm crazy. But every month in the inner courts tier, we will be doing a ceremony that is conducive, not prosperity. We won't be doing that, not love. We won't be doing that, not the any of those other things. The monthly ceremonies that we will be doing will be self evolutionary works. Those ceremonies that enhance the mind and the spirit. And they might evolve after that, but these won't be any of the prosperity, crown of success, any of that. These will be geared towards the journey that we're on in that tier, in the inner courts. So consider yourself inside of a temple, and there's the outer courts, there's the inner courts, and then there's the Holy of Holies. Now, y'all can't come up in there. But the inner courts is what this tier is, and we will be beginning our journey. This is an interactive tier, so it would benefit you if you are in this tier to be prepared to take a note or two, because it would be a lot of deep dive, a lot of study actually, as well as spiritual work, just to be a resource to the journey that we're on. And so I'm excited about that. And so I will launch that first members only live tonight at 6, which is why I'm getting this one out of the way today. We will actually be starting with this, the Sibyls, the first prophetess of Mamiwata, the theft of African prophecy by the Catholic Church. There's no way that I can introduce you all to who I really am, besides all of this shenanigans on YouTube and doing celebrity stuff, without giving you an introduction to the lineage that I come from. So that's the business that I had to get out of the way. Shout out to the new Inner Courts tier. I look forward to seeing everyone who joins in there. It is $19.99 a month, but it includes the members only lives. You guys will get members only shorts that will be exclusive to you guys, behind the scenes looks into ceremonies that I do for that tier, monthly free ceremonies to ensure that none of our time is wasted in this tier. That is why I'm doing the monthly free ceremonies, because I don't want to waste my time and investment, and I don't want you guys to waste yours. And if you are not spiritually and mentally evolving, then this tier won't benefit you. So if you are only interested in the T type readings, don't do this tier, because it will not benefit you. But if you have been somebody who is asking me or demanding of me for the heavier and deeper stuff, the real gems, then welcome, Sissy Barbie. Welcome to the Inner Courts. Then this is the tier for you. If you are not serious about making serious lifestyle changes, then I recommend you not waste your money on this tier, because you won't find it useful. But if you are looking to take your life a little bit more seriously and get more deeper into self-awareness so that you can understand the world today, then I have to take you inside. To know God is a journey inside. You will find that in here, Sissy. You will absolutely find that here. I'll also throw in after about a month of the tier being up and running, then I will do a pop-up surprise giveaway. And that giveaway will be a What is My Purpose consultation for 5 people in the membership tier. So 30 days from today, when we do that Inner Courts membership tier, I will pop up and randomly select 5 members to do a What is My Life Purpose consultation, which is a type of consultation I do. It is a combination, or it is based solely, not solely, but based primarily in your natal chart, because that's where I go to look at you. The cards are supplementary, but when people come for the What's My Life Purpose type of consultation that I do, then I do pull up your birth chart and I start there. So that is a gift that I'll be doing for the members, just to celebrate a month of this new tier and everybody who chose this journey. Shout out to you guys and respect to the law. Now, Beyonce just popped out. Hey, Jasmine. Let me take a minute to greet everybody who's in here. Hey, Jasmine. Hey again, Sissy. Hey, Mama Fakit. I see you on duty. Hey, Stephanie. Hey, Mari. I already shouted out. Bread is good. Angel, sweetie. Hello. Angels, Milky Way. Hello, honey bunny. Happy Friday to all of you all. Happy day of Venus. Happy Friday the 13th. Happy day of launching the inner courts of the Temple of Adina. Friday the 13th is a goddess day, okay? Which is why it's given such an evil connotation, because it is the day of the divine feminine. It is the goddess day. And so we represent everything that they like to demonize and darken, because we are unpredictable and mysterious and deep and spiritual and all of those good things that make up the divine feminine. So shout out to the ladies on this day of Venus, Friday, which happens to be Friday the 13th. Shout out to all of the divine feminines and masculine in this spiritual work, in this spiritual path. Practitioners, psychics, mediums, readers, witches, warlocks, root workers, priests and priestesses of all sorts. Shout out to all of you all on this Friday the 13th. Tis the day we ride out on our broomsticks, besides Halloween. Shout out to the black cats. In preparation for Friday the 13th, I left some catnip outside of my window, because when I'm in here working, woo, I want to hear the because that's how the cats sound when I leave catnip out there for them. They don't just meow. They be out there growling. So now I've given shout out to all of the divine spirits. Um, Beyonce, speaking of divine spirits, speaking of witches, warlocks, priestesses, and all of that thing, my cousin sister Beyonce, she decided to pop out. Uh-oh, I scared you guys, didn't I? Gotta be quicker than that. She decided to pop out in a bob, in a cute money green outfit that I really enjoyed. Hey, Diamonds Divinity, shout out to you, my dear. May the force be with all of us in the spiritual streets. This is me with my lightsabers, making sure the force is with us. I don't know why I did that, but sure, it felt good. May the force be with us, all of us out there in the spiritual streets, in all of your line of work, all of us gypsies and such. Shout out to you on this Friday the 13th. May your broomstick be charged up and ready to go like a Tesla. We fly tonight, sisters. It's funny because my uncle, aunt, and my mom are out there having prayer. It's my mom's birthday tomorrow, you guys. She is a Valentine's Day baby, so I never really get to enjoy Valentine's Day. Not that I ever have. Fun fact, historically, I've never really gotten a chance to really do the whole girl thing on Valentine's Day, even though I was married for over a decade. My husband wasn't with that shit. I was the romance between the two of us. He didn't take the initiative to buy gifts, take me out, stuff like that, unless one of his sisters said something to him about it, because I never would. So I've never really been able to like have the experience most girls have. And plus, because it's my mother's birthday and my mother is an Aquarius, obviously. So everything's about her. And on Valentine's Day, despite her being a girl and having three girls, she doesn't care if it's Valentine's Day and we're girls too, so we want to enjoy it too. No, it's her birthday. So I don't have a Valentine's Day. It's my mother's birthday. Michael, it's because you're so attractive. Of course, they want you to have a baby and do things the traditional way. It's because you're so attractive. You guys, I have a few gay clients that are men, a few gay male clients who are so attractive. I just be like, man, listen, hey, hey, don't get drunk around me. I'm going to test you. I'm going to test you. I have a listen, I share a Libra birthday month. Actually, all the attractive gay men that I'm talking about are Libras, like me. Go fucking figure. Michael's a Libra. He's an attractive gay male. And there's another one. He never really in the chat, but E Prince, Emmanuel is so fine to me. It's just so fine. He's a gay Libra. If he's in the chat just being incognito, then I'll get a text message soon. But I'll never see Will in here anymore ever since that little rah rah with him and JD. But, and it's probably best because if we don't see Will, don't think it's because he a punk and he let JD punk him. I ain't trying to egg nothing on, but Will is a vibe and I can't wait to meet him in person so we can key. Will is handsome and he's such a vibe. I always see him in somebody's random ass comments on Instagram and it's under the funniest shit, the funniest shit. JD, I wish JD and Will could get to know each other because they would key with each other, even though they're on separate sides of entertainment. Will is always under the comments of the funniest shit, and I appreciate him being my friend on Instagram because it livens up my algorithm. So, Daquan, but Daquan is like my baby brother, so I can't see him like that. But Daquan is handsome too. And is Daquan a Libra? I don't think so. So, shout out to all the fine ass men here that aren't interested in me like that, but y'all look good. And ironically, most of y'all are Libras. You know it's Libra when you see them two fingers. I appreciate Carisha for making that song so I can use it as a joke. Shout out to all the Aquariuses too. It is your season. I'm here gagging for your sister air sign, and it's your season. So shout out to the Aquariuses. Some of you guys are known to be super, super social. I didn't say friendly. I said social. Y'all got a lot of associates. You guys can be really popular. You guys are the social butterflies, but in my opinion, you're a friend to no one. But that's okay though. Because your alter ego, your sister element, your polarity is Leo, the most self centered sign in the whole tarot. And no shade to Leos. That's okay. I'm a Libra, so I'm okay with everybody being who they are. But Aquarius is you're a friend, you're an associate to everyone and a friend to no one but yourself. And I appreciate that about you. And that's no shade, you guys. It's no shade because you guys are great networkers. You're great to have fun with. You go out. Well, yes, on the other side of Aquarius is Leo. Yeah. 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 On the other side of Libra is Aries. So we seem to be non confrontational on one side, but then on the other hand, it's up. We rather not because we will. So we rather not. Yes, Aquarius sister sign is Leo. So everybody loves Leos. They're the center of attention. Aquariuses are very, you know, popular. They have lots of social networks. Social media falls under the sign of Aquarius. Technology, aliens, and sci fi is an Aquarius thing because it's very quirky, but it's also very free spirited, which is why I said it's a friend to no one but itself. because the Aquarius will choose itself at the end of the day because the day has to end. And that's why it will choose itself. It'll choose you, but that's only because it chose itself. And so once an Aquarius chooses itself, then it can go and choose you to be in its garden, to be reflections of it. But don't listen, my mother is an Aquarius stellium. Everybody loves her, but her children who are closest to her know that everybody should tread lightly. But sure, we'll just we know that you should tread lightly, but everybody else just treads. And then they get their feelings hurt accidentally because Aquarius is also will say whatever the fuck they think because they don't have an emotional meter. Aquarius says are the water bearers. So yes, they have the capacity to have emotion. But do they want to feel anything for anyone besides themselves? No, which is why it pours it out. It's true. Aquarius has emotions, but does it want to feel it? Hell the fuck no. So it'll just pour it out. The water bearer. Here, you get emotions, and you get emotions, and you get emotions, but I ain't touching them bitches. Shout out to the Aquariuses. All right. Beyonce. Beyonce's up on the docket. We will talk about Cardi B as well because she just started her tour. I still want to discuss Super Scent, and this must be just something that Spirit is telling me to do, not just to shoot the shit with the celebrity stuff, but this must be a real message behind that Super Scent situation. Because the first time I tried to read it, I ended up reading Debrat's wife because she's the one who that baby drowned in her Airbnb pool mysteriously, and the story died away because she settled. But Super Scent, I really want to touch on that because I'm afraid for her. And I'm hoping that by me addressing what I think I see in her situation, that will be Spirit's way of, or an energetic way of, sending some form of healing and help energy to Super Scent because I think she needs help, if not for her, then her children. And then finally, we are going to talk about the infamous situation between Chris Brown and Rihanna because JD asked me to. Yes, the infamous situation. We've never looked at that before, but we shall do so here. Now, my cousin sister Beyonce just released some pictures that she took at the Super Bowl. She's very much like me. We move in the shadows. So, yes, I was there, but you won't have any evidence of it until days later. I'm the same. We share a 12th house stellium. That is why I call Beyonce my cousin sister. Just because we share a 12th house stellium. And so that is where covens are in the 12th house. That's where the spirits are in the 12th house. And because she showed up in my dream before and we communicated in a dream way, then I feel like she all up in my personal business as I was all up in hers. And so if we end up in each other business like that, then we're sisters now. I already did the elevator fight with Solange and Jay-Z and Beyonce. I've done that before. I have. It was a long time ago, but I've done it before. Maybe I'll touch on it again because there are a couple of cold case readings that I'm going to redo with fresh eyes, but I might. Hey, Celebrity Tarot. We're talking about Beyonce. She just came out with those Super Bowl photos, and Beyonce doesn't usually pop out unless she is being strategic and sending a message, or it's her way of covert marketing, subconscious marketing. She doesn't tell you that she's marketing, but just by popping out and grabbing you guys' attention, she's on your palate so that when she pours something down your throat, it tastes good because she's already primed your palate. That's what I see that she does. And Beyonce was not photoed at the Super Bowl with her husband and children, but she was there and she did photo herself in the Super Bowl proximity days later. So I just wanted to see what she's doing because I saw the last time I read her that she was coming because she has to. Papa's in trouble, so mama don't want to weep. So mama has to come outside. And so do the motherfucking kids. I said Beyonce, the kids. Now, you guys, first of all, I was so excited to see Rumi because I am a Rumi stan. I know that's strange for me because I stand no one but me, but and Rumi. Rumi, Rumi, Rumi. I'm not even a celebrity girl. I don't have a celebrity favorite, never have, not even when I was a kid, never had anyone that I looked up to, except the version of me that I had a vision of in my future. But Rumi, I absolutely adore whenever she comes around because I can feel her energy. And it's so dynamic. It's so many colors to her energy. It's so many colors and sounds and feelings. She's just so colorful, that energy of hers. It's like being swallowed up in a rainbow while eating Skittles with a leprechaun giggling, holding a pot of gold, hair blowing in the wind on your way to the land of Oz. It's like that. It's being swallowed up in a rainbow, eating Skittles with the leprechaun on your lap, and he's holding a pot of gold, giggling. How leprechauns giggle. Hey, me pot of gold. Hey, me pot of gold. That was so funny. I almost slobbed. I haven't read it. I haven't done it yet. Celebrity. I had a whole bunch of other shit to rant about first, so I'm just warming up. Why did I do that? Like an old person? Oh God. Okay. All right. That leprechaun thing really tripped me out. Me pot of gold. That's how Rumi's energy feels, like being swallowed in a rainbow. And you're just sliding down a rainbow tunnel, and the colors are just whizzing past you, and you almost get nauseated by all the colors. That is Rumi's energy. And it feels like a Altoid. Describing her energy, I just gave you what it looks like, but it feels like an Altoid. Like really refreshing and crisp. It does. It does. I adore her energy. All right. I love how she gives unhand me at all times because that's the energy I want to give at all times. Unhand me. I just love Rumi Carter. I love everything about her. Everything. Do you hear me? Her energy gives. Everybody has an energy they gives. I guess the kids call that an aura. Rumi's permanent aura is unhand me. Because let me go. Let me go and just be. I just I stand. So thank you, Beyonce and Jay-Z, for the gift that is Rumi Carter. Rumi unhand me Carter. The greatest celebrity to live since Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston. Ladies and gentlemen, Rumi Carter. Blue who? No shade to Blue, but us first sisters are not the coolest. It's the second sister after that. My middle sister is definitely not cooler than me, but kinda in her own way, sure. No, we're all kind of cool. Okay. So Beyonce, let me just pull her up and see what she has going on. Is she about to scared you, didn't I? Pop out on us really quick with something? I won't be buying unless Rumi's there, but you guys will buy. You guys will hurry up and buy. So let us see. Let us just see what Beyonce has going on since she decided to grace us on Friday the 13th. I told y'all it's the day of witches. If I pop out and I release my new inner quartz tier and Beyonce pops out, she's my coven sister, 12th house activities. We always do witchy shit together. And I am calling Beyonce my coven sister because if I am the woo lady, I'm telling y'all, Beyonce is a coven sister, meaning she do too. She just don't take my advice. And so, just like Cardi does, but she don't take my advice. Actually, Cardi did take my advice. I swear one of you Bush watchers is on Cardi team because before she released that album for almost a month and a half, I was giving her the blueprint. I kept saying, because I kept hearing, Cardi B, your ancestors want you to honor them. You have to get into your Latina bag because you are not black. You're not the type of black that you're portraying. And if you just be a Latina artist, a Latina hip hop artist, you'll thrive. And what happened? They tried to throw that Bodega Baddie in there at the last minute. And I know it's last minute because they started off the promo and the rollout with that album with that Hello, It's Me, that Outside. So she was still giving um Boss Man D-Lo vibes and, Southern rap vibes, Southern hip hop rap vibes. Bodega Baddie was thrown in there because one of y'all bush watchers, with y'all broke asses. I ain't talking about all the bush watchers broke. I'm talking about the ones that go back and report the tea to the celebrity so that they can use it without scheduling a consultation. What does she do? But now she's fully embracing, kind of, that Latina energy. But I told it's too late. You had to do it the way I told you to do it. It's not too late, but she has to, from this album, since she has Bodega Baddie on there and she just came out with that theme of Bodega Baddie's Spanish Latina girl, then after this album, moving forward, Cardi has to present a brand of a Spanish woman. That's the only way. She has to completely reinvent herself from her roots up. She has to present as a Spanish, Latina, Dominican woman, period. Not just in music, but period. If she does that, then she can successfully still transition into a really good music career in the Latin market, in my opinion. You'll sell more. And I like Bodega Baddie. Nevertheless, Beyonce. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. Please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Beyonce Giselle Knowles Carter. Beyonce, Beyonce. I'm sorry, I'm looking at some woo that I have doing. I'm working over there in the corner. It's communicating. You all tread lightly today. Be safe. It's Friday the 13th. Not everything is safe. Beyonce, thank you for gracing us, our Lord and Savior. Just kidding. With your photo of you and your new Bob celebrating the Super Bowl. No, you didn't give us a photo of you at the Super Bowl, but you let us know that you were celebrating it in your new Bob. Beyonce, talk to me about what you have going on in your life currently. There's a lot of conversations around your husband, but you remain stoic and resolute, quiet, hidden, if you're not those things. And so what's going on in your energy? And why did you decide to grace us with that photo days after the Super Bowl? Remember I told y'all when I was calling up Jay-Z's energy the other day, I said his energy is one that if he's bothered, he's flustered, but it comes across as a little bit controlled. And then a few days later, he got caught lurking outside of a hotel without his car, and everybody was talking about how he looked flustered, um, with the possibility of being approached by paparazzi. Beyonce, talk to me about what's going on in your life currently. How are you affected by all of the conversations surrounding your husband? Are you confident? Are you getting ready to come out? Why did you decide to release those photos on your Instagram now? I know it wasn't for nothing. You know, this feels like Beyonce's coming, but very slowly, maybe, or maybe this is a part of her rollout. But this is the slowest moving night in the deck, and it's also Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus. So Beyonce is in action currently because all the nights have a fire element about them, no matter what element they are, because they are active. They're nights, so they're in movement. So Beyonce is in movement, and she has something here that she's coming with. She's on a black horse with red. Renaissance had a silver horse. Cowboy Carter had a white horse. I wonder if her rock has any black or red elements. Oh, her stage. It did. Wasn't she on a stage and it lit up in red or something, maybe? Like the rock and roll guitar symbol, maybe somewhere. Am I imagining things? She was on a stage and there was like a red guitar that lit up on the stage and it was in red, maybe. Wonder if there's black and red to the new rock era that's being, or a promo or something she had. Didn't she just release merch and it was black and red or something? I see black and red on this horse. That gives me rock. She's got here in her armor the blue from Renaissance, the white from Cowboy Carter, all of those previous eras combined into the one that's coming slowly but surely. She shows up as a knight because when in doubt, bring B out. JD, you all at work but had time to pop in and say it's gonna flop? Girl, when in doubt, bring out the soldier, the one who is well seasoned in battle. Meaning, this ain't the first time they didn't had to bring Beyonce to pull a Jedi mind trick, as her father would say. She's an OG at Jedi mind tricks. Challenging. Her relationship is suffering. So I will say, because somebody asked me how does she feel about it? Remorseful, regretful. But hey, Beyonce's problem is that she believed, and I said this the last time, that their position, that their elite status, she felt like we will navigate this because we're connected to these. So they were depending on their connections and their status to get them out of this. But week by week, month by month, something else happens to make them, I won't say to really tear them down, but at least it makes them look bad. And Beyonce and Jay-Z have maintained control because of their public image and their public brand and the sway they had over the media. Now that social media and even now some mainstream media are not tiptoeing around them and presenting a different bias or conversation surrounding them, now it's like starting to set in that maybe that attitude of I don't care what it looks like. I know who we are. So all of this will blow over. There may be, according to my opinion, some regret. If not regret, there's some kind of forbearance. Like, I may crash and burn with this. I may just have to, say, fuck it. I got to ride it out. And I think that's exactly what this is because she's in too deep. So I think there's some remorse, regret, maybe fear. One of those five stages of grief. See, she sent the girls out with their disgraced father while she what sat with her friends. So I don't think everything is peachy cool between them right now. And it could be because Beyonce is probably starting to feel the first hint of maybe the outcome won't be as unscathed as I thought it was. She may have her friends, Angie Salon, Kelly, helping her lick her wounds, kind of, when you going through it with your man and y'all looking like y'all really doing bad. Your girls come back into your life as your support system. You go ahead, take the kids. I ain't trying to be seen with you. We got these kids together, so you gonna be the daddy, and then we gonna co-parent. That's what it gives with this card. Yeah, she's surrounded by her crew, her support system, and she sent the kids out there with their daddy. Ace of Swords, the new allegation. This could be a new charge or an allegation that could lead to a charge. What was this? Was it the Karen White? Was it Karen White or was it something else that recently just came up? Celebrity Tarot, that's what this was. I was answering your question with this one. This is one of the five stages of grief. Could be regret, could be worry, remorse, but at the end of the day, all of those are almost the same thing. They're just symptoms of the same root issue, and that's a form of regret and remorse. So when you do something that you regret or are remorseful for, worry sets in. Don't be sorry, don't be sorry. Worry sets in. I can explain it differently so that you can understand why I was explaining this as the answer to your question. Don't be sorry, I can explain it differently. When you do something you regret or you're remorseful of, worry sets in, anger at yourself sets in. The worry is about the consequences. The anger is because of the situation. You're angry at yourself, angry at everybody else. Grief over the L that you might have to take. So that's why I said this absolutely. In some vein, sure, because of this. The Five of Cups, the five stages of grief. And worry is one of them due to, I believe, a form of remorse or regret. That's the big one. Because there was a new allegation that just recently came up, and this one, I've read Beyonce and Jay-Z in all their allegations. I have never seen this until now. Whatever Beyonce is getting ready to do and currently getting ready to do, despite her looking locked in with the home team, she's doing it despite carrying this around. Women, they break up with a man, they cut their hair, change their hair. Something like that. And what she just do? Come out with a picture of her new bob. Not photo with her husband and kids. I don't know if she used to get photo with them at the Super Bowl, because I feel like I only remember seeing Jay-Z and the girls since they've been showing up at the Super Bowl as a family. I did used to see her and her husband in the box. So I don't know if I ever saw Beyonce and Jay-Z the way, together on the field, but what she's doing, despite showing or not showing, because she's not really showing anything except a cute picture, but she still had on her wedding ring, so it looks like she's still locked in and loyal. But what she really feels, and I think what's really brewing behind the scenes is this. Because of the most recent allegation, and I think it had a lot to do with Kathy. And remember, I mentioned the one thing that Jay-Z didn't want to be dug into was his relationships, his past relationships with younger women and things like that. And then that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. I remember the Eight of Cups reversed in his hopes and fears when I read him. So the Five of Cups in hers means that some associations he's had, the difference between 5 and 3, the 5 for her, the 8 for him, and his fears was associations or past relationships. Now, I said Beyonce, Foxy, and Aaliyah, but shit, Kathy, Foxy, and Aaliyah are the ones that seem to be brought up recently and been a thorn, a sword in their side. One of those conversations, probably the Aaliyah one and the Kathy one, did some damage over there, at least to Beyonce's resolve. Which is why, in my opinion, if anybody wanted to get Jay-Z, here's a freebie. Stay in that pocket. And I only say that because of this. And all the times of me reading them, despite the Diddy stuff and all Jay-Z stuff, I have never seen this. This is completely different energy than what I saw even the last time I read them. And that was right before the Kathy and Aaliyah and Foxy conversations began getting brought up in a more serious way. This means that those allegations brought some pain, at least to Beyonce. Can't hurt if it ain't no truth there, because ain't nothing. And even if it was truth in the other places, I haven't seen any form of concern in that way, in this way. So that's the pocket. That's the pocket. But y'all ain't hear that from me, especially for free. Now, if you want specifics, because I got them too, that ain't free. That's a reparation fee right there. Y'all got 40 bands? You know they like the number 4. 40 bands, I could tell you where the bodies are buried, a couple of them. Near future, the moon. Something's being hidden and covered. Will Beyonce start making moves? And then everybody in the know have to kind of hide. Beyonce is usually working on things and making moves on things at least a year in advance before we catch wind of it. And by the time we do, it's ready to be rolled out and consumed as a fully packaged product. Now, I don't know what this is, but this is definitely fear, worry, could be of getting caught. It could be she's getting ready to start preparing something and needs that form of secrecy shrouded over her like she typically does. Something's coming though, but something isn't as it seems. Something could be covered up, hidden, most likely. Now, crowning her, The card of deceit and the card of deceit. Deceit due to illusions, cover up deceit, or not being all the way in the know deceit. This is outright lying and kind of tiptoeing around, sneaking. Sneaky, ain't it? What do we have here? Two of Wands, being seen together or being seen preparing. In a way, I don't think that I think Beyonce is being strategic about being seen with Jay-Z while there is something legal going on with them or about to be. Their attorneys would know if something is coming to them legally before we would hear about it. Something's brewing. Oh, something nasty is brewing. Besides whatever work she has going on, because if Beyonce is coming, it's because something else is brewing and we need to be distracted from it. And both, I believe, are happening simultaneously. She seems to be strategic about where and how she's seen with Jay-Z, or tiptoeing around being seen with Jay-Z because of his legal allegations now. This could mean that Beyonce's starting to be conscious of the damage that being Bonnie did. And now that it's practically too late, she seems to be now trying to be more strategic surrounding her husband and how the public perceives them both. I think Beyonce sees an end to something. It could be an end to the future that she saw for herself or that they saw. I think they had a goal, a plan, and due to recent events, I don't think it's going to be achieved that way because their brand, their image, their name has incurred damage. So the great vision that they had has been altered. They can't pull off shit they used to. Their legacy, their image isn't the same anymore. It's been tarnished. In my opinion, they are still bullying their way around behind the scenes. Like I said, that time after the Jaguar Wright interview where I read them and I said this was in their near future, said they were going to be bullying their way around in the industry. Um, that's still going on. The problem is, though, that it's become less effective. But now they got to do it even more because of this. Something they want to keep covered, hidden, hushed. It's going to require some strong arming to do so. And some of these issues they have are because of the strong arming they did. People ain't like that. At this point, I think Beyonce just wants to save herself and everything she worked for. This is strange business with the Seven of Cups. Have fun. Strange business with the Moon and the Seven of Cups. That's a Jedi. If I've never seen Jedi mind trick, it's this. If this is in the future, then that means the outcome is that a Jedi mind trick was played, which is here. Some very fishy going on. Yes, some very fishy going on here. Let's get into the fish of it all. Now, the outcome is Seven of Cups. Last time I saw the outcome for her, she did the Cowboy Carter tour, and that was about 7 or 8 shows, 7 or 8 stops. I wonder if she's doing another surprise drop. Beyonce is holding back something. So she's holding back that she's gearing to release something and actively preparing for it to the point of completion. The moon in the near future. The moon and the magician in reverse. First of all, what in the magic? How come every time Beyonce getting ready to release a project and I read her, I see woo? Strong woo. The moon could be Solange because, oh, that's a Pisces card, even though it rules Cancer in the zodiac. Speaking of Solange and woo and magic, I'm going to say that Beyonce is doing something that she does not want to get out, and it is being safeguarded, kept, intentionally hidden. There's also something about this Empress in reverse that gives me a little bit of insight into her state. Release, death, Tower in reverse. These people feel like co-parents to me. I'll say that her and her husband feel like co-parents. I remember I read them and I said, I predict a divorce and I stand on it. I thought I was tripping after it still hasn't happened, but these people are not a couple. They are a couple of humans that have a legally binding contract due to business ties. These people are co-parents. In their personal lifestyle, they give co-parent, even if they live together. And I don't even know if they do that. Whatever Beyonce is going to do, it is going to make people chatter. She could drop small hints and clues. Beyonce, are you going to leave this man? I feel like that's on the tip of my tongue to say, but I think even her family and her team have started hiding things from Jay-Z. So I think there's a lot of movement on Beyonce's part behind Jay-Z's back, or her and her team have started cutting him out of certain conversations that they used to have with them as a unit. Beyonce is going to take some legal actions for herself. I don't know if that's going to look like an outright divorce where it's public, or if it's going to look like a rich people divorce where we think they married, but they've drawn up some kind of documents within their marriage that mean even though we still together married, we ain't, nigga. Because when you're rich, you can do stuff like that, like be married to us, but not be married on in any way that matters. Meaning starting separating assets, start separating this, start separating that. I think that there is regret or remorse because Beyonce, this was the waited out card because they thought that because of their position, them being a power couple, Beyonce being Beyonce, we can get out of this. But that's behind this husband that just ain't husbanding anymore. I think this is Beyonce starting to be like, I fucked up. I saw Adina's last live and she right. Lemonade was my open door. And I could have been rebirthed then and there. And I wouldn't have had nothing to do with this shit. I should have left him with Lemonade and been rebirthed. Afterbirthed. I told you. But no, y'all just want the free consultations on YouTube. Child. And you don't get all the tea. I think that one of his side witches has become a legal issue behind this remorse. Now, what's that legal issue in the past? People start talking about the only side chick of his that could get him locked up, and that's Kathy. That is where, now this comes in. That changed the pictures for, in my opinion, Beyonce. So when I look behind what brought on the change, the remorse, the regret, a side chick that won't go away. And that can bring legal stresses. And this side chick ain't here no more because she's in reverse. So she's not still active, but she's still active. Her ghost. Because justice, you can go to jail for this one. You can be tried or legally, officially investigated for this side chick. You was tricking and cheating, and it looks like you might have run up in her raw. This is my raw sex card. Jay-Z, listen, you better hope. Listen, Beyonce, girl. Now, what kind of chemical or injection could you give someone to make them look like they had an aneurysm? What kind of medicine could you give someone? Or, oh, this is Jay-Z and his wand producing a child, getting rid of both of them. I wonder if, you guys, I take back that Lotto might be, I don't know. I said she wasn't pregnant, but I'm not good with predicting pregnancies outside of the ones in my family anymore. Justice. That could tear down their whole family, this Kathy situation, if it was fully investigated. That's the thing that would tear them apart. That would ruin them. The entire Carter Knowles brand, both brands would be permanently demobilized if investigated for that. Something here about a child, it's either illegitimate or listen, I've read Kathy before. I did her own reading. I'm going to say that based on what I saw then and based on what I see now, what is the Seven of Cups outcome? And let me say this to my coven sister. I'm not beating you over the head. I get it. I know you thinking it all over now and maybe blaming yourself a little bit. And that's what you should do when you continuously make choices based on trauma bonding. You should sit there and stew with the part that you played of not protecting yourself and your interests and even getting down with the get down. Just lost my train of thought. Beyonce, what's the Seven of Cups as your outcome, though? That's what I was about to say. Beyonce, I hope that you see yourself mirrored in Jay-Z. Um, because I believe, in my opinion, that Kathy White situation is where you displayed yourself to be equal to him in every single way. Because the moment your Virgo, I'll say perfectionist tendencies were triggered, your God complex was triggered, you have a God complex, he has one. Control. You are A-okay, in my opinion, with the need and the desire to control the situation at all costs. And I get it, because that's what power does. When anything threatens your power, you eliminate it. So I'm not judging. I'm saying that I hope you see yourself as his equal, because you absolutely are. And your love for not just power, but absolute power and control. Virgos are controlling. Most of the time, for the best intentions of everything involved, they just think they know it all and that their way is the best way because they've thought out every detail and perfected the idea in their mind. So, sure, but controlling nonetheless. What is the Seven of Cups as your outcome, Bianca? Up next, I will discuss Cardi B and her tour. If anybody's wondering how it's going to do. Well, here's Jay-Z, but here's Jay-Z not standing upright. Their family, this is either an illegitimate child, family, baby mama. Nevertheless, this is family drama surrounding Jay-Z, and it's going to have him completely in chaos. Beyonce is going to have to give you guys something to make sure you're not paying attention to the scales of justice, because there's something that's already brewing. Actually, it's the Kathy White situation. It's been brought up in the public, and more people that have the authority to do something about it have taken interest. You guys can thank Nicki Minaj for that. Yep, I'm so serious. I'm so serious. Nicki Minaj went over there and snitched like she said she was going to do. And she snitched on the one thing, the biggest thing that can take down her biggest op. Now her label, want to play right by her. Now everybody shutting the fuck up and getting in line. She used to complain a little bit about her label not fully supporting her. Now she said, "Oh, they love me. They like me. Anything I want, I'm gonna get it." She didn't say that, but everybody trying to shut up now. hmm I'm telling you, that Kathy White situation, because it's been brought up publicly, it's already being looked at by people who it should matter to. That's why the moon is in the future. Seven of Swords crowning Beyonce, and the outcome The Seven of Cups, the Jedi mind trick. Because we can't know about that situation going on, but it's going on. It'll pick up steam as Beyonce picks up steam. Oh dear. And I don't think she's feeling well, but she has to come out. She has to come to work. This is the third time I've read Beyonce in a row and mentioned her not feeling well because of that knee. I think it's more than the knee now. Like, I don't think that she needs more surgery on other parts of her body, but I think that all that pressure on that knee has caused strain on other joints and parts of her body. Could be the hip, could be the lower back. I feel like she's not feeling well in her body. Ooh, the one thing that could take them down is picking up steam. Beyonce will sue him if it gets to that point. I think her and her team are already having conversations and putting things in formation just in case they have to pull that trigger. Child. Beyonce, I'm telling you, even if you leave him now, I know the last time I read you, I said you had to leave him then, but that was before the Kathy White stuff came out. That literally came out days later. That was your window of opportunity. That's why you need me to be your consultant. Because by the time I say it on live, it's probably too late. Yeah, you can leave him now, and sure, you'll still salvage some of your brand. But I'm telling you, if you leave him now, people will still take you down with him because you were all with the shits then. It'll look like you only left him because the water got hot for him. But if you left him just last month, everybody would have said you found out some shit and you left him. And they'll forget about the fact that this stuff was rumored years ago when it happened and you announced the baby when she was announced dead. People will forget that part. If you had left them before this conversation came back up in this era, then you could have spun the narrative to say that you found out some stuff just like everybody else, or around the time everybody else did, and you left him as soon as you got confirmation that it was true. But y'all don't want to pay me the reparation fee with y'all broke asses. So that's what I got with Beyonce. It's a Jedi mind trick, but it might be an enjoyable one if it comes in the form of music or performance. But look look beyond the veil. And Beyonce, in the wise words of Azora from Eve's Bayou, look to your children. Sometime a soldier fall on his own sword. Look to your children. And I know you know Eve's Bayou because you're from Texas. Sometime a soldier fall on his own sword. Look to your children. Now that I've gotten out of my coven sister's business, Cardi B. How long has Cardi B been in the industry? She has just went on her first tour as a solo artist on her sophomore album. That's a little bit of shade because as a songwriter myself and someone who has released several mixtapes, 3, 4 real albums, don't matter if I'm famous for it or not, it means I get to it because I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. But little old me with nobody listening to it, not half the audience. About 4, 5 real albums, a EP, about 7 mixtapes. All since like 2017. And it's 2026 now. No, I won't even say 2017 because I didn't start really. I was playing around then. So I'll say about 2019 to 26. So Cardi B, girl, but you out there, and that's all that matters. So let's do a reading on Cardi B to see what's the energy surrounding her tour. She was just yelling at us saying that, she was just celebrating. So we going to the Super Bowl! We going to the Super Bowl! And then she was just cussing out a little girl because they didn't agree that her man was going to win. And then she broke up. And then she went on tour. And then she launched a hair Cardi B, girl. I wonder how your blood pressure is these days between the drama and then just back to back stuff. You's a busy señorita. It's a lot. It seems like it's kind of all over the place though. But sure, when things go left, you know how to still push that thing to where it's supposed to go, and that's towards the stage. So let's just take a look and see how Cardi B's tour will do, what she has going on in her life. She has a lot going on in her life, so I'm nervous about this. I ain't ate yet, except for a couple pieces of bacon. So let's just go. Let's just get into this thing. I gotta eat, smoke, and come back for 6 o'clock. All right, Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy. 6 o'clock might be 7, y'all, because I'm looking at the time now. It'll be 3 when I get off of this. I gotta eat, okay, so 7 o'clock, members live. New Inner Courts members live. And it won't be that long and in-depth today. We're going to do a starting point and an introduction to some things tonight. And since it just launched today, I have to give people time to, sign up. But you still have access to the material that was in there from when it was previously called the doctorate degree tier. So shout out to you because I taught them how to do a couple of rituals in there. I think I gave them a protection ritual and a prosperity ritual that you can do at home. And it's astrological teachings in there as well. So I just stopped it so that I can kind of go back to its foundations and restructure it and then relaunch it as the Inner Courts. So those are other goodies that you'll get in there. An invocation to Ishtar, Inanna. We did that in there too. And I'm actually going to bring that to, I'm going to redo that. I may just tell you guys, since you have access to it, to go and watch that video. But no, we have to do another one as an invocation for how we're doing things now. So we'll do the invocation to Inanna again. Yes. It's already been launched. It used to be called the doctorate degree tier, but last night I restructured it and then it had to be submitted for approval again. So now it's called the Inner Courts. And I explained it in depth at the beginning of this live. So if you want more in-depth information before you sign up, which I think you should before you sign up, so you know who should and who shouldn't, what you'll get from this. And if you're not looking for that, then don't sign up. So replay gang this video and then watch the first, I'll say, 20 minutes where I talk about the new tier. All right, Cardi B. Most High Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Belcalis Almanzar. I ain't ate, so I don't even have the energy to do the conjuration of her name. The Belcalis Almanzar. Takes energy to conjure a Cardi B. And I don't really have it right now. Plus, I got a ceremony going on right now, and it's pulling my energy from me as well. Belcalis, Spirit, please allow me to speak to the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Belcalis Almanzar, better known as Cardi B. Cardi B. Cardi B. Congratulations on your tour. When I looked at the pictures of you that some people posted on blogs, you look so happy and fulfilled to be in a room full of people that showed up just for you. So shout out to that. Cardi B, despite your tour, you have a lot of other things going on. You just had a Super Bowl performance. You had a breakup, maybe breakup, because all you did was say done. A hair care brand launch, and maybe some more shit. So what's currently going on in your life, your tour, your personal life, and how will your tour do? What's the outcome of this season that you're in? Cardi B, before I begin, I'm going to say this. And this is just one of my A&R, PR, master advertiser and marketer, Dina, free tips now that it's too late for you to prosper off of it for free ski. Because you have a relationship with Jay-Z and the NFL through Stephon Diggs, you should have negotiated a different appearance with Bad Bunny. I'm not one that thinks that you should have performed. I think that that appearance you did made sense, but it didn't make sense because you were in a box and dancing with other people underneath Bad Bunny. And I didn't see you. I watched the Super Bowl, but I was too busy dancing and singing in faux Spanish because the music was just moving me. And so I didn't give a fuck what was going on. I got up and I was, and I danced the whole time. And it was my halftime performance. My cousin sat back and watched me perform featuring Bad Bunny. So I didn't see the TV that much, except for when I salsa near and got a chance to look at it and then salsa away. So I missed your part, and they say a lot of people did because it was quick. What you should have done, since he was honoring Latin culture, you should have negotiated with Team Bunny and Team NFL and Team Halftime Nation to, instead of have him dancing on top of that thing that you guys were in, you should have had a Dominican salon scene. He could have given homage to the Dominican salon culture, considering you were about to release a hair care brand. So it would have also not just made sense for him to do that favor for you, to make a salon setup and have those same people, those same women that he had dancing next to you, dancing around in a salon, some of them sitting in chairs, some of them dancing around, because in the Dominican salons, it's a vibe. Y'all sell food in there. You can get food. You can watch the telenovelas. You might can get some motion on the side. Y'all have the music going. It's a party. You can get a drink. You can dance while you waiting. That's what I heard the salons are like up there in New York and stuff like that with the Dominicans. And so it would have been an homage to you all's Latin culture, as well as allowing you to properly advertise your hair care brand, for you to, for that set to be a salon, a Dominican salon, and have you in there in the salon, because it still would have been giving homage to you guys' culture, and it would have been a great way to prepare us for the release of your salon, because we would have been talking about it before we even knew that you came out with that salon business. I mean, that hair care business. And then everybody would have been talking about how genius that was for you to advertise it that way. So there you go. Cardi B, talk to me about what you have going on in your life, though. You seem to have a lot going on, a lot of positive stuff with your tour and your new business venture. Who cares about the guys? Your money is starting to ring. The coins are coming in. Who cares about those boys? What's going on with you, Cardi? How's your tour? How's tour life? How's your private life? How's mommy life? God damn. And what's the outcome for you? You're wearing a lot of hats all at once right now. It's a vibe down at the Cardi tour, and she's enjoying herself. I think for her, it feels like a big party. So that's good. This tells me she's having fun on her tour. I feel like she's finna ask me for something. My cousin daughter is texting me, hey, she's a Libra too. So she's definitely about to ask me for something, and it's probably expensive. So, and why do I still get notifications and I put do not disturb while I'm on YouTube? I don't know, but I don't like it. And I'm just, hell, I ain't got it. I don't know. She's 20. And kids, they always hitting you up for shit. I ain't got it. Cardi B's having fun down at the Little Miss Drama Tour. It's like a party. I think that's how she feels. So that's good. And this just shows that she had probably had other expectations about the tour or not knowing what to expect since this is her first. But now that she's doing it, I think she feels like, oh, it's kind of just like one big party. Challenging though, I think the challenge is she's having Stefan problems. Yeah, that's the only thing challenging her right now, because she seems to be having a lot of fun right now or feeling really good, like she's just hanging out with a bunch of her friends at a party. The sourpuss in the room is, I think this is Stefan, because it's the Knight of Cups in reverse, and the Knight of Cups in reverse and the King of Cups in reverse is my gay male or bisexual male, and I think Stefan is bisexual. However, he's sulking, and Cardi B, I wouldn't be surprised if you zapped him with some of that woo that you do that you claim you don't do because you saved in Jesus. But girl, your ancestors never were followers of Jesus. So I don't buy it. But if the people buy it from you, then that's their money. Nevertheless, I wouldn't be surprised if you put them on an altar of yours. I also think that you need to do a cleanse, because I do think that you are carrying around bad energy that spreads to people because you had to conjure it to help your career. I do think you sustain your career off negativity rather than talent. So I think you should be doing regular cleanses so that the people that you encounter don't pick up some of that juice. So Stefan, he ain't been acting right, and it sucks because right at your tour, right at your big Cardi party, he wasn't acting right. So that's the most challenging thing in your life, is that your man ain't been acting right, and he doesn't seem to care to court you back. Knight of Cups in reverse is not going to come ask you to stay. Baby, please. Baby, don't go. Baby, please. I'll change. He will. He won't. Cardi B, I believe you wanted to be the only one or the main one in a room full of girls. I was going to say a womb cleanse, but I bit my tongue on that because I felt like people may interpret it as me saying she stinks. But yes, a womb cleanse. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I could explain why, but I won't. But trauma, drama. Ladies, we trap that in our womb. That's why when we sad, depressed, we break up, the first thing we do is think to go find another man to date. Because it's the trauma and it sits in our womb and in our solar and sacral chakra. So our coping mechanism is to usually bury our head in the shoulders, the arms, the chest, the balls of another man, rather than face those unsavory emotions, thoughts, and actions. That's the lack of accountability in women that people talk about. Girls will break up with somebody and 10 seconds later, they got a new man. Hence the situation with Cardi, Offset, and Stefan. But it's a coping mechanism, and a lack of accountability, because if you sit there and think about your failed relationship, you start feeling bad about yourself and wondering what you did. And that's actually a good thing to do, because relationships don't fall apart without two willing participants. And even if the person stepped out and did you dirty, very rarely do you get completely caught off guard with someone who doesn't give you at least one red flag. And if you proceed, then it's on you to proceed with caution. So I think that Cardi B wanted to be the main one in a room full of other girls. I think she wanted preferential treatment, and I think she thought she would get it because of who she was. The problem is, these other girls were there first. They seem to have a program going on over there. And I don't want to say this as my opinion, but I think that they don't find Cardi a match for them aesthetically. So the respect or the energy of bowing down or stepping back from competing with Cardi that she may have expected because of her money. She walked into this harem and them girls was like, who? Bitch, please. Cardi B was like, hello, it's me. They was like, who? Girl. Anyways, what you was saying? What you was saying, Pre? Yeah, it's like, and then when the girls didn't see it for her, that make you feel bad. So then she started overcompensating with how much Stefan loves her and he chose her. But because I'm so good at reading people, it was because those other girls were giving her pressure. Now, internally, she knows what it is. But outwardly, my man let me down. It ain't my fault he chose me because I make him laugh. That was her kind of telling how she really felt to me. When I heard her say that, I could hear how she truly felt. Because she didn't say I'm the baddest bitch in his roster. She couldn't say that. She said I can't get mad because he chose the brim because I make him laugh. Meaning, yeah, he got a lot of bad bitches, but the thing that they don't have is this. So I said, oh, I got you. I got you. And relationships ain't like that gonna last, even if you're okay with him seeing other people. If you feel insecure and the other girls know you feel insecure, you might as well leave, because they ain't gonna give you no peace. Even if he does, even if he says, oh no, baby, I love you just like I love them, they not gonna let you have no peace because they know that you're insecure because of them. So I think it was a wish unfulfilled. Wish granted, but an unfulfilled wish. This is wish granted and wish fulfilled. It's everything that you ever wanted. This is a wish fulfilled, but it's not everything that you ever wanted. I'm telling you, it's because of the girls. Those girls don't care about Cardi. And Stefan, he just looking at it like, I told you, I love all my hoes. Why are you mad? Because I love you and them. She's mad because she wants you to love her and not them. She wants you to put them in their place and tell them, if y'all gonna be around, y'all gotta tiptoe around Cardi. And he wasn't doing that. Near future, this could be drama that Cardi kicks up for her tour. And this is always drama or collaboration amongst, competitors, but even collaborative competition. Nevertheless, she's on tour, and her tour was surrounded by drama. Her album was surrounded by drama. So this is drama relived due to her being on tour. And we just saw the first hint of that with the Bia thing. She performed her diss at Bia. Bia responded. She's got a JT diss. So we have to, do that. And whoever else she dissed. So her tour being surrounded by drama which is five. Five is chaos, drama, and change. Then we'll see it. But this is more innocent than the first drama I saw for her when she was releasing her album, which was Five of Swords, because that was the initial attack. This, it doesn't hurt as much because the swords already came first. The initial attack doesn't hurt as much because they know that she's on tour, so she's just performing stuff that she's already released. Still, the girls might respond to the drama that she kicks up. Page of Cups reverse. Give me a second. That's Stefan's son. Now, she has this son with Stefan, so she knows she can never completely end things with him. So, for now, this is co-parenting, but not harmonious co-parenting. This is kind of figuring out the situation between Stefan and the new baby day by day, piece by piece, because she's on tour right now. He's on trial, so they both can't really figure it out, and it's still sour feelings. And she can never ask him out of her life, which I think she would love to do. I think she would like to erase him like her Stefan era didn't exist. But that's the part of being reckless. Sometimes the consequences are permanent. Hey, Miss Thompson, I haven't seen you in a while. Strength. This is good. Cardi B's tour, she's feeling good. This is inner fortitude, meaning despite all the outside drama she has going on, she's focusing on her tour, and she's using that to kind of fuel her confidence and her strength right now. Strength is about inner fortitude and inner strength. The tour is saving her from crashing out every day online and foaming at the mouth about Stefan. External to her, Stefan's court, is it a court date or a trial? Not sure if it's a trial or a court date, but that's what this is, I think. Hopes and fears, Queen of Wands, Nicki Minaj. She's still competing with Nicki Minaj. She knows that Nicki Minaj has protection now, so the fear is what Nicki Minaj is going to do this year. The hope is that she can compete. I'm going to tell you something that I noticed, and all of you guys who are fans of Cardi B are going to hate me, but you'll only hate me because I seem like I don't see it for Cardi B sometimes, or I feel like that's how, and I don't, not as an artist. And I see the things that has been built into her career in order for her to sustain herself. I don't think Cardi B would have called out ICE at her concert if it weren't for her trying to gain some attention from the political world, especially with it being on the side opposed to Nicki Minaj. I don't think that Cardi B would have wanted to draw that kind of attention to her audience that might be. You know, she's Latin. So I just don't see that as, I don't see it fitting into, like, I don't see the point in doing that at her tour on the opening night. But I do think that Cardi B sees the fame, the infamy that Nicki Minaj is getting off of politics. And Nicki Minaj has kind of pivoted to another arena that none of the other girls can compete with her in. While she was still only seen in music, Cardi B won when they would go head to head. That argument they had, I saw more people taking Cardi B's side, even though I thought both of those ladies were disgusting in that instance. But I saw the music and entertainment community kind of blow over the things Cardi B said that were just as egregious as the things that Nicki Minaj said. I think both of them were nasty in that. But I only saw one person being pointed out for being nasty. And so, in that regard, Cardi B, I think she felt confident that she would have the upper hand over Nicki Minaj. And I think she saw that she finally won and that Nicki Minaj is ruined. Nicki Minaj went over to politics, and not only politics, but that politics can protect her in the entertainment career so that she still can thrive. So I think that Cardi B's ice situation, I think she has her eyes on Nicki Minaj, and I still think Nicki Minaj is her career blueprint. It has to be. And if you're a fan of Cardi B, that's fine. But in my opinion, her career has to be somewhere close to Nicki Minaj's because that's what they got her for. That's what they got her for. And every move, whether it's been a good move, whether it's been a move that, like a song, a performance of any move that she's made, whether it worked or not, it's been in spite of. So her hopes and fears is a fire sign woman. Okay. If y'all don't think it's Nicki Minaj, I'll say a fire sign woman. I think she wants political attention too, right now. I think she wants a cause to fight for. She has been political in her own way in the past, sort of. Everybody gets on their social media and talks about politics these days. And then she was hired to speak for Kamala, but that doesn't mean to me Cardi B has been political. We're in America, so we all have to be. And people just weren't used to someone from Love and Hip Hop being, able to communicate in politics. I think it's the bare minimum. I think just because she talks about it, people were impressed. But I don't see Cardi B as political. I don't. I don't. I see it as something that she's been able to speak on, but I don't see her as being political. And she hasn't been for a while. I'm saying that I believe that by poking at Ice, being unprovoked, and poking at Ice on her tour was a way to draw attention to her. But I'm going to clarify this and let y'all see it for yourselves the way I see it. Outcome, Ace of Wands. Hopes and fears, Queen of Wands. Ace of Wands in reverse. I don't think she's going to get the reaction that she wants from this tour. That is not to say that it will not be successful. She also interviewed Biden when she ran. Okay, that's fair. Do you think she wants Nicki Minaj to be looked at more political than her then? Since she's the one who's known for politics and now only thing people are talking about in hip hop politics is Nicki Minaj. So sure, I'm the politics girl, if that's the case. Either way it goes, Nicki Minaj is in her hopes and fears. That's even more reason. If she was the one who was into politics before, then she wouldn't want Nicki Minaj to be seen or forming all of these conversations, not just in hip hop, but in politics when she's the political girl. In my opinion, there's going to be some baiting, but I won't say it's intentional. I'm going to say it's because she has to present the album that she released, and a lot of that was full of drama. So I don't want to say baiting, but baiting in the sense of working through her career. It's going to bait because if you go to a Cardi B tour and you just sit back and watch the whole performance and listen to the content, the collective content, how much of it is just pure music creativity and how much is it a little bit of drama? So in that regard, it won't have the impact that I think she wants it to have. I think Cardi B is going to be hoping for a lot of moments that are polarizing, that draw attention, conversations, because all of that brings a form of PR success. But this means that nobody's going to be paying her that much attention. And so her tour will be like a party for her and her fans. But I think that Cardi B wants to spark more conversation around herself the same way Nicki Minaj has. And she will try. One of those was calling out ICE. The other is just performing the songs that take jabs at pretty much all of her peers. She has a song that takes a jab at everybody, maybe except for Sexy Red. She don't have a song that took jabs at Lotto, but she herself did. So, but nobody cares. Nobody's going to give her, I won't say nobody cares. Nobody's going to give her the opportunity that she needs and desires. I'm telling you guys, she wants to kind of bring some attention to herself the same way Nicki Minaj just did, because what was supposed to be a cancellation for Nicki Minaj made her infamous and a little bit untouchable by the people that used to be able to take her down. And I'm going to start with this so that people don't think I'm being funny, because I don't have a dog in this fight. I don't have an issue with Cardi B. I've given her some lucrative advice for the free ski because I know what her situation is with the finances. Not saying she's broke, but divorce and having to pay that thing for Offset quietly. Listen, Cardi B, if I was a man, I'd get with you too, because you like to spin on your man. And I've said that before. I'm a Libra. I would absolutely be, I don't know if I'd be a sugar mama, but I don't mind, buying things. I don't mind spoiling my partner. I don't. I don't. I don't. I'll buy you things. I'll take you on dates. Once I'm smitten, gender roles where? You want to go on a date, babe? Yes, I'll be done. Went to the mall, picked you up an outfit, got you some cologne, put that shit on the bed and said, be ready by 7, bitch. Mama taking you out. And then when we come back, take them drawers off. Big mama energy. Lotto could never big mama the way big mamas. So I get it. But Cardi B, you is you is a whole nother one. Didn't you give Offset 10 million when y'all was together on a birthday or something? You gave him a whole lot of money on. I'm sure you gave Stefan money on because he had a bunch of other women that you had to flex your wealth in front of. So I know you came around throwing money. Mm-hmm. I got a cousin that do that. She feels like it's a flex for her to meet men and show off the fact that she has money on her own, so that they'll feel like, dang, that's a boss bitch. That's a bad bitch. I need to fuck with her. Fuck them broke hoes. And it works, but they don't stick around. She got a banging body. It's natural. She make a lot of money, but she leads that. She's a Virgo too. So she has a lot of masculine energy too. So she leads with that. And yes, the dudes, they gonna pick it up. They gonna fuck the shit out of you because she fine as hell. They gonna fly her out, take her on trips. They gonna do all of that, and then they gonna disappear. Because they don't really care about all of that big dog shit. Because they can't run no game on you. And you pulling up in a Tesla, you own your home, You got a 6-figure job, you in school, you know, you this and this, you walk up and your whole outfit costs more than his car. So, Cardi B, you got to stop doing that though. Because when y'all do that, and I've done it too in the past, not to this extent, but I've done it too, trying to make a man think that you're better than, or not better, but a better choice than other women because you don't need them. That's really what it is. You're saying, look at me. I'm better than these women because unlike them, I don't need your money. And we subconsciously accept that men make us feel guilty for liking to be taken care of. So we'll go and off rip, lead with, I don't need that. I don't need that. I got this. In fact, I swipe. We fuck up with that too. I learned that as soon as I caught myself doing it, I learned that it's not that the man will take advantage of you financially because they still don't care about your money, but it sends a message that you always gonna try to assert a form of dominance on them. And if they not gay, they gonna be like, I don't want to date another man. I don't want to be the passenger princess. I don't want you to tell me go put some shit on and drive me to the restaurant and then slam your card on the table and the man sitting there like clutching his pearls and I'm sitting there with my legs cocked open saying, yeah, you gonna give me some dick when we get home. I I realized that even thinking that that's going to impress a man because we convinced ourselves that they ain't gonna treat us right if we don't lead in masculinity, it's gonna lead you in the same results. The man is gonna run away from you because he gonna be like, unhand me, you strong ass bitch. So just be yourself, because that's not being yourself. That's trying to prove a point that you different, that you a special snowflake. I've been there, girls. I've been there. And then when I found out that I wasn't specialer, I said, "Oh no, no, no! Let me just put my card up, and you know, I don't. I'm. It's not like I'm shacking up with a man because I need him. But what I'm not finna do is try to convince him that he should be with me because I don't need him financially. Because then he gonna do that. He gonna be with you and not do nothing for you financially. Then you gonna be mad because what you really want him to do is do stuff for you. And a little gem. Most women have realized that when you don't ask a man for anything, you get a lot more from them. Women like this have learned that. Cardi B knows that. I know that. The cousin that I was just using as an example, she knows that. But it goes into an extreme when you start trying to show how much you do have so that he feels comfortable. He can't call you a gold digger if he know that you got a whole lot of money on your own. So you show up as somebody who has a whole lot of money, even though you still expect him to do things for you. You just don't want him to call you a gold digger. But the fact that you still want him to do things for you makes you no different from the woman who don't have a lot and still wants a man to take care of them. So at the end of the day, women like to have things done for them. It ain't even about gold digging. We like to have things done for us because it's our love language. It shows attention to detail when you do it. But Cardi B, you have to do that and not do things to make the man like you and spend money to make the man like you. Giving your husband 10 million, I wouldn't care who I was married to. You're not getting 10 million out of me. Two, yes. One for me, one for you. Yeah. But 10, no, no, no. Why do you want me to give that to you instead of enjoying that in our marital unit? No, 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 no. You still a nigga. You gonna go cheat with that money. If I want to spend money on a bitch, I'll find me a bitch to spend money on. No. So, with that being said, let me clarify. And Cardi B, your concubine sisters, they don't need them either. because they're professional hoes. So they can date 10 Stephans and make twice as much. Who is that lurking outside of my house in a tinted window? Yeah, keep that shit rolling. Cause my 45 is right here. I keep it close. Anyways, right here. Anyways, I don't like that. I live on a dirt road, so and they just stop right in front of my house, and I can hear music coming out their car, so I know they whack, and that's fine. I ain't one of them neighbors, but when you live on a dirt road and you've been living here for so long, you know the cars that come up and down. It ain't like it's a whole lot of traffic, so who the fuck is you? All right. Queen of Wands and Cardi B's hopes and fears. Because let's see. Let's see if that's Nicki Minaj or am I tripping? Queen of Cups. I'm telling you guys, Nicki Minaj went from Queen of Rap and now she has a new surgence. She's a new type of queen. Queen of Politics and Queen of Religion. Now that flew out of my hand. She had a rebirth, a rebirth. And this is Cardi B the Libra. She don't like that shit. She gonna drop a dime on that shit. And Liv, you might be more righter than I was. It's because she's the political one. She's the one who established herself in politics way before Nicki Minaj. And because Nicki Minaj has aligned herself with the Trump administration. Cardi B was team Kamala and Biden. So the rivalry in entertainment, in my opinion, Cardi B wants it to be the same rivalry in this new field that Nicki Minaj has stepped into. It's almost like you have a toy or you're playing on a playground with a specific thing on the playground, and then you walk off because now you want to go and focus on the monkey bars, and another girl walks up to play on the thing that you were playing on, and now you want it back because she's playing on it. And look what she's doing. She's doing a trick that you didn't even know that thing could do. Now you want it back because it's yours. You had it first. You want the glory for being there first, even though you walked off and left it alone. So if they are parallel in entertainment and Nicki Minaj has stepped into politics and made such a big impact, then Cardi B will definitely want to be the anti. Her hopes and fears, Nicki Minaj, and her new afterbirth into the Trump regime, into politics. Cardi B taking a strong stance with ICE, them responding, her responding back. I think people said she responded back. Hopefully, that'll become a thing. It won't, though. The Bia situation, not a thing. If you have to perform your song about JT, she won't bite either. Megan Thee Stallion, her legs to the moon with Clay Aiken. She, all right, so let me see the outcome, the Ace of Wands in reverse. No, I think she wanted to get a thing going, a machine going. Won't happen. Another wand. No fruit in that garden. So the tour will be fun. The tour will be fun. It's like a big party. She's having fun. My advice, Cardi, is to just continue to have fun at your tour and do it for the love of being Cardi B. And don't try to pull any Jedi mind tricks. Just have fun at your party tour. All right, moving right along. Super Scent. Last time I tried to do this, my audience was like, "Who is that?" So if you don't know who it is, I just won't take the time to explain. But she has that Crayola makeup kit, and I still don't know nobody who buy that. But in my opinion, she's rich because of her voodoo, her woo. Because she from New Orleans, and she, of course, she does woo just like Judy did. I can smell it on them. It's a certain type of woo they do in New Orleans that I can smell. It's different from everybody else's. Even if they doing hoodoo or voodoo, it's still different in New Orleans from everybody else's. Because I can smell it. I can sense when somebody's been doing New Orleans work. Fun fact, Solange spends a lot of time in New Orleans, but as much as I love Solange, this is just spiritually speaking, there's something very pick me about that. And I think that even some of the spirits can pick up on it. Like a person who always wanted to be a witch or a psychic, so they buy all the things, they move into the murder house, you know, so they can just get the full experience and be all gothy. While I do think she can do a little one two, and I know that she spends a lot of time in New Orleans, she doesn't give me the same feeling. Spiritual hoarding, that's what it is. And it will turn some of the spirits off based on your intent. You have to be a seeker to spiritually hoard, meaning your reason for hoarding is that you want to hoard wisdom. And you know that wisdom can be found everywhere. So you just want all of it. You want to collect from here and here. But when you do it for the sake of saying, I am super witchy, super spiritually powerful, you'll get some spirits who want to exploit that. And you'll get some that be like, girl, don't come over here with that bullshit. Go on over there now. Y'all got a lot of that Creole in y'all blood. Keep that in mind now. Keep in mind the ancestors that y'all might want to call on in slave-ridden New Orleans that might not have liked your ancestors because your ancestors was in the house on the porch where y'all was on Lemonade promo, Beyonce, you and all the other light-skinned Creole girls in the industry, Zendaya, Halle, Chloe, and all the other Creole girls were on the porch in the Lemonade promo to let us know exactly where you guys were in those days. And yes, while it might have been against your will, you might have been a product of rape or something, y'all sure did historically come to appreciate those benefits once you got them. So, with that being said, careful in New Orleans trying to hoard all those spirits because think about the history of New Orleans and who was there and how women like you got treated versus other women. That's that's all I gotta say. But because I could smell a certain type of energy on New Orleans woo people. It's a woo that it's more pain. It's pain. It's pain in New Orleans woo. It has a heavier pain content. And that's the smell. I want to say the smell is iron, like blood, like blood, trauma, and death in New Orleans woo. Not saying anything is wrong with that, but that's what I smell on. I can always tell. Always tell. I always wonder if a New Orleans person is fresh off of a blood sacrifice. Because I always pick up iron in my nose first. Pain from slavery, trauma, blood, bones, and dirt in New Orleans woo. Solange, I don't smell that on you though. I smell Hollywood magic on Solange and a little bit of the Yoruba. You know, she's a daughter of Yemaya, daughter of Yoshun or Shun for Beyonce, and that's kind of like that's become so commercialized in my opinion, but it's like they took trips to Africa and somebody told them about that and then they wanted to hoard that spirit and then I don't know, it's weird. But she don't give me deep off in them trenches and she still gives me Hollywood, meaning she's black, so she knows about African spirituality, but because of the privilege that she grew up in, she doesn't know the survival aspects of the woo that's done and why it was done as survival, as protection. You know, she doesn't have that. So there's a little bit of superficiality that I smell in Solange's woo. Exploiting the Orisha. I think the Orisha have been exploited since Lemonade because that's when it made everybody want to be a daughter of Oshun. And then everybody became a daughter of Oshun. And I just start thinking about y'all gonna piss off the rest of the Orisha because all of y'all are not daughters of Oshun. That's when everybody started charging to initiate. And I was like, y'all gonna fuck the fuck up. Watch. And y'all gonna be spit out 5 years from now. Ain't none of y'all gonna be here. And they ain't. So everybody just this sex pot kitten garden goddess, and nobody ever talked about all the other aspects of Oshun when they was daughters of Oshun. They just wanted yellow waist beads and honey jars. That's all they wanted. Yellow waist beads and honey jars. Absolutely. So when Oya comes through, because y'all wanted Oshun so bad, and Oshun say, Oya, sister. Since they think that it's all butterflies and honey over here, Oya, sister. Send your winds of change and tornadoes to their ass and let them know that don't none of us play. Yes, you're supposed to find out your lineage. They say that you're supposed to find out your head deity, so everybody goes and gets reading about your head deity without knowing your fucking lineage and your ancestors. These people can tell you about what ancestors or what deities walked in your ancestors, and half of these deities are beings that walked on this earth a long time ago. But because of their ancient status, they were wise, they were godlike. They weren't anything like us. So we saw them as gods or aliens. Your motherfucking great grandmama is who they were. And y'all letting these people charge y'all $2,000-$3,000 to tell all of y'all that y'all daughters of Oshun. Still ain't got no man. Birth rates declining. Surgery enhancing. How is y'all daughters of Oshun and your natural beauty isn't? How? How? Daughters of Oshun, if we had all these daughters of Oshun, then we would have saw a movement of natural beauty. Everybody would have found with their money that they can use to go enhance in surgery. Everybody would have invested into natural ways to enhance their beauty. The gym would have been a bigger thing than it's become now. Natural hair, new ways to style it, new ways to treat it, new ways to grow it. But instead, everybody went through a fake thing, and it's a fake version of divine beauty. And that's because y'all was fake daughters of Oshun. Child. But I'm going to let y'all rock out with y'all cowrie shells and y'all yellow waist beads, though. I'm just saying, though. I'm just saying. Y'all following behind Beyonce, and look what Oshun had to say about her behavior. You gonna use me for self-empowerment just to stay in the same muddy waters when I am the mother of fresh waters, meaning a fresh start? Y'all play around. Play around if y'all want to. Fuck around if y'all want to. I'm gonna raise my price on y'all. Anytime somebody come to me asking for a hex removal or something like that, I'm gonna look and see if y'all was one of these daughters of Oshuns, and I'm gonna tax that ass for the gods. Word to the law. So Super Scent, you got that New Orleans woo smell on you. I want to take a look at Super Scent because I feel like she's in a scary situation, but I've always wanted to read her because she just got that woo on her. And I've been so curious about it. I've been so curious about the woo from her and that Judy lady. Now, I thought Super Scent was the one who had that baby drown, but I found out it was Judy, so I couldn't do this last week. But Super Scent, Super Scent was just recently in the media because her husband got arrested for strangulation and maybe aggravated battery or something like that. Allegedly, she is the one who he beat up on. Allegedly, they have a history of putting paws on each other. Allegedly, she has a history of being in mutually abusive relationships. And apparently, this situation came about because her son, who was a teenager, went to school venting about the domestic abuse he witnesses in their house. And his friend told his dad, and the friend's dad told the blogs. And Super Scent went off of social media and then came back on and said, I don't think she went off of social media, but she kind of said, I'm no longer going to share anything from our relationships and personal life or kids on social media. And this reeks of battered woman syndrome. Once the outside world starts noticing or catching on to the abuse, they yank the kids out of school. Don't let them go nowhere. Don't go around the family. So can't nobody clock that tea. And that makes me sad, but it also makes me concerned. So I'm doing this just to make sure that ain't nothing gonna come in her future that we gonna hear about and then mourn about. And I don't know anything about this lady. Except what I just told you. I don't follow her career. I don't follow her social media. She only came to my attention because of her recent domestic situations. And I know of her from that crayon color kit. And then she had a BBL. I know that much. But looking at her, she's easy to read. Her self-esteem hasn't changed with her new body. She still carries around whatever feelings she had that caused her to get her body done. She still wears them. The BBL cannot change the insecurities. And she still has those. I don't know what kind of childhood trauma she has, but she reminds me of Eeyore. Yes, Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh. Just melancholic. All right. Most High, Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Super Scent. I have to be wrapping this up at 4 o'clock so I can have at least 2 hours to eat, 2 or 3 hours to eat and kind of decompress. All right, so let me run through this and then run through Rihanna and Chris Brown. Super Scent. Spirit, please allow me to conjure up the spirit, soul, and collective energy of Super Scent. Compel her to speak her soul's truth, keeping absolutely nothing hidden from me. Compel her to speak her soul's truth, keeping absolutely nothing hidden from me. Super Scent. First of all, are you okay? In your relationship, Are you okay? Are your children okay? And will you be okay with someone who is prone to abuse, to abusing you? You're prone to abusing him. How will this marriage with this man unfold? Will it last? Will you guys get therapy and get better? How are your children? Yes, I remember that too. She was having issues, health issues, and kept saying they couldn't find anything wrong with her. And there was rumors that she was having those health and medical issues, memory loss and stuff, because people was doing woo on her. I remember that. I remember actually, I used to watch Tracy Brown when that happened. I was new to YouTube, the YouTube community, like being on YouTube as a source for entertainment because I was newly divorced. And at my job, we can only access certain websites on company computers. YouTube was one of it. So I start exploring tons of random content. Tracy Brown, the psychic, I used to listen to her back then. And she did a reading on Super Scent when that was happening. And I remember she said that they was putting woo in her food. But yes, I do remember them saying that her friends and people was doing woo on her. My goodness, my God. Super Scent, what's going on in your life? How are you in your relationship? How are your children? What's going on, dear? I believe that she's in a relationship with this man because she has money. And I'm saying he's in a relationship with her because she has money. And I also believe that he's prone to envy and jealousy over the fact that she has the money and he doesn't. And I believe he gets triggered in that regard. I believe that he's entitled to her money. And I believe when she tries to put her foot down and create boundaries, I believe it turns into a fight or an argument. And I believe that she relents and gives in. I believe she attracts men who are not equal to her financially because of her low fucking self-esteem. No amount of money or surgery in the world will make her see herself the way she presents herself. She doesn't see herself that way. It changed her lifestyle. It changed the attention she might receive, but it did not change her on the inside. She's still the same woman that is willing to pick me and pay master and overcompromise for a man, especially one that she might feel like has more going on than her. He's jealous of her, but she thinks that he's too good for her, I think, which is, girl, challenging. Her children. Look to your children. Her son was the one who outed this current domestic violence situation because he went to school, talked about it to his friend, and his friend told his parent. And then we knew. I I don't like to use the word fear. I pity the children because Super Scent, you are giving them, and they already have, they will need therapy for. It's too late to say change so that you don't damage your children. You have. You have. You got a child that don't want to be there. I believe it's that son of yours. I don't think he wants to be there. I know that I've heard her say they've had a rocky relationship. It's one thing to discipline a child because you feel like they're rebelling. It's a different thing to try to figure out what the cause is of your child's rebellion. Sure, teen hormones is a thing, but teen depression is a thing too. And speaking from experience, when children are trapped in situations that are harmful to them and they are stuck in it, they can grow up suicidal because all they've known as children is that they wanted to escape their life circumstances that seemed to overwhelm them and they couldn't. So they never learned how to properly cope with life. They come up as adults who don't know how to properly cope with the highs and lows of life. They still are inner children who want to escape. The thing is, as an adult, you know that there's nowhere for you to go. So they tend to be suicidal. I'm speaking from experience, not just mine, but others who I've worked with. Abused children or children who are prone to abuse and nobody will save them or protect them when they're children, they lose hope in anybody saving or protecting them, even their inability to protect themselves, because when they were getting the trauma, they weren't in the position to save themselves. So as an adult, when they're faced with something tough, the only thing they may resort to is, I wish I could just disappear or run away. And as an adult, what does that look like? Disappearing and run away? Bills follow you everywhere you go. So you know there's not too many places you can run away. Disappear, though. You look to your children too, Super Sin, even more so than Beyonce. But Beyonce, I say that because if you don't think it's smart to be seen with your husband, don't send your innocent babies out there because you know they innocent and they won't be talked about bad. In fact, they can help him look good because they are formulating thoughts, opinions, and perspectives on their own that they aren't at liberty of expressing while they're kids. But you're going to hear them later on. You're going to see them when they start growing, and then you start to feel like they're becoming rebellious, but they're trying to find a way into a form of independence out of what their parents subjected them to. And children are not meant to be obedient because humans are not meant to obey. We're supposed to rebel against anybody that tries to conform us or force us into any form of slavery. Now, that's a double-edged sword because children should have respect for their parents and their elders and obey their rules. But the idea of rebellion will come naturally to a child growing up into a teenager because humans were not created to obey or be slaves. So it's a natural reaction as a human. Once you start growing older into a form of yourself that's independent, you will start seeking naturally to throw off the confines that restricted you. That's a human thing. So I'm not saying don't steer your children when they're navigating that phase, but steer it with love and remembrance of the cycle of human nature, because you were there too. And you knew that you weren't trying to disrespect your parents. You were just trying to find and be yourself. Blue does that when she dresses up like Aaliyah at the darn front row seats at the game so that everybody can snap pictures and talk about it. I don't think that's her way of trying to shade her parents, but it is a form of self-expression. I like Aaliyah. We may not be able to talk about her a certain way. I may not be able to ask my parents certain questions, but I can express myself like this. I'm Team Aaliyah, even if I can't tell my parents that I've been online and I've been reading the tea and I've chosen a side. Blue seems like she'll choose the side of the women. Her mom, Aaliyah, she sees them all as victims. She seems like that's what she would. If her parents ever divorced, I think she'd blame her dad. Yes, they are both Capricorns. Past position, super sent. I see a lot of her son energy here. Now, she has other children that are younger than the son. You got to be careful with them because you're raising them the same way you raised the son in the same environment. So there is no new path with these new children other than money. But you're repeating the same things that cause you to have these issues with your oldest son. The issue is that you're insecure, you have low self-esteem, and your coping mechanism is men. You will put them over your children, over the well-being of your children. You will. And you'll tell your children to get in line. You'll tell your children to respect their elders and their adults, even if you don't deserve it, because you don't show any respect for yourselves of each other or each other in front of them. But you want children to, when children are more easier to see through BS than adults. Y'all keep playing with kids if you want to. But I see a whole generation of lonely parents. I do. I see it in the future. You fix yourselves and stop blaming everything on the fact that kids should just obey and get in line and be grateful with whatever circumstances you birth them into, just because they should be grateful for you birthing them into mess, I guess. Or the bare minimum, at least I didn't give you up. At least I didn't abort you. Who's to say that wouldn't have been worse? I mean, better. So I'm just saying, accountability is visiting everybody now. And for the thing is always to tell children that they're the problem, that they need to be quiet, that they need to fall in line, while the parents continue to display bad habits that children just typically naturally react to. And then you react by discipline. I see a generation of parents who will not have close relationships with their kids because that old form of not even parenting, but relating with humans, these new humans ain't with it. Not even new humans. These reincarnated humans, they've come to destroy all those strongholds. So they won't deal with anybody trying to uphold them. Super Sin in the past has had an issue with her son. I think he's been vocal to her or expressive personally about things going on in their house. I think he's might have been ignored maybe. And so he talked at school. This is in the past position because we're all here because Super Sen's son went to school talking about the abuse, the violence that his parents, well, his mother and her husband were displaying. Near future, oh God, Super Sen will do everything she can to keep this fragile relationship going. This is her. When you accept a man back who abused you, then you got to accept him back on your bended knee. Because he know he did wrong. But if you don't know he did wrong, he going to come back like you owe him something. Like it's your fault. Y'all in this situation. And what I'm afraid is you're going to feel like you need to handle your children differently because they're the ones who got y'all in this situation. They're the one, your son is the one who talked about what was going on in y'all private home. Nobody would know, nobody would be talking about it, and it would be easier for them to move on with their toxic mess if we didn't know about it, if we weren't concerned. So she will try to handle matters privately. She will try to pick up this relationship and fix it and make it work. She'll walk on eggshells to do so between her children and her man. He will allow her to do this. He will allow her to be split in between her son and him. He won't have to say it, but he'll expect her to choose a side. She won't have to say it, but she knows that's the expectation. So instead of making an outright decision, she'll try to juggle both, but she'll try to get the son on their program. When the son does not fully accept that bullshit, she'll align with the man and look at the son as the problem. Boom. I really don't even need to flip anymore. She just doesn't want us knowing how toxic their relationship is. She just doesn't want us knowing how bad of a man her husband is. The issue isn't that he's a bad man. The issue is that we found out. And this is her currently in the woods, meditating next to a tree on social media, saying she's going to keep their business off of social media. External, nobody believes this relationship is good. Nobody believes it ever will be good. Nobody believes it's healthy. Nobody believes that you are capable of a healthy relationship based on your relationship history that you displayed. And everybody that knows about this situation is concerned for the children. I hope you don't have Department of Children and Families looking into you since your husband just got locked up and released for domestic violence. You could have a Department of Children and Family issue that we won't know about. Hopes and fears is her man going to jail. And this is a fear. So she didn't want him to go to jail. Outcome. They will keep their shit private, but the shit will still be there. And again, woo. People doing woo on her, she doing woo. This is a mess. This is a mess. It'll still be, their relationship will still be toxic, but they'll try to keep it private so that the law doesn't get involved anymore. But I don't think this is the first time they're going to have a physical altercation or the last. They're going to keep it private because they just don't want us gossiping about it. I'm talking about Super Scent celebrity. Super Scent, child. It seems like he almost killed you, like he came on the brink of it. I guess that was the strangulation. And I don't see you leaving. I see you keeping it quiet. Yes, one of his charges was strangulation. This tells me that he almost killed you, for real. This is you losing air. Swords are air signs. Cutting off air. He stopped himself. He probably realized that he was about to kill you, so he stopped himself. That's the only reason you still here, is because he realized, he had a moment of clarity. Oh, yes. This is him stopping himself. He knew he was about to kill you. And furthermore, jail is what his concern was. Long-term jail. Shorter-term jail, you going to prison for a long time. He stopped himself because he thought about going to prison. Also, I think he didn't want to do it, what he was doing, in front of you guys as children together, or some small children you have. The kids were there. Look, this tells me he would have got caught. He stopped himself because he would have got caught. He would have went to prison because the kids were there. So they would have told. He wouldn't have been able to hide it. Super Scent. Girl. That's your outcome. You're going to stay where you at, and you're going to try to keep it cute and mute so that we can't hear. But what us hearing got to do with your eyes being black and blue? You don't want the laws involved because you don't want your man to go in jail. Yeah, the son is the one who would be able to, if he had really went through with unaliving her, the son was there. He stopped himself because he realized, oh shit, I'm about to kill this bitch. Her son here. He know, he gonna tell. That's what I'm saying, sissy. That's what I'm saying. Child, is he gay a little bit? Or he just don't like you for real? He don't like you for real. He don't like you for real. It's almost like being married to you is just like a contract, and one that he has to begrudgingly fulfill. It's like a chore. He don't like you. And he resents the fact that you got money. But why get with a woman with money knowing you're not the type to be able to date a woman like that? Because a woman with money who will date a man like you has low self-esteem, and you can tell that off rip. So that's a come up. Child. Child. You're welcome, Super Scent, but not that you need it, because don't save her. She don't want to be saved. She don't want to be saved. She wants to live in her delusion. So let her. But pray for the babies, the kids. All right, last one. Rihanna and Chris Brown. I don't think I have the energy for this, but let's go. JD wanted me to look deeper into the Rihanna and Chris Brown situation. I don't know how deep I'm going to go, but I'm going to do it like I do everything else, and I'm going to read and see what transpired. And then I'm going to end this because I got 6 minutes. I'm starving, and I'm trying to keep my 7 o'clock schedule tonight for the new tier. But I need at least 3 hours in between. All right. Most High, Mother and Father God, please allow me to conjure the collective spirits of Chris Brown and Rihanna. Allow me to conjure them both and allow me to divine between them both what took place the night that they got into an incident that caused Rihanna to be beat up and bruised and Chris Brown to get arrested. What happened between them? It might be 7:30 because I need to be off of this live by 4 to start at 7. It's going to take me more than 6 minutes to do, 5 minutes to do this, so it might be 7:30. All right, Spirit. When Chris Brown and Rihanna got into that physical incident that resulted in Chris Brown being blackballed and Rihanna being bruised, what happened between Chris Brown and Rihanna? What caused Chris Brown to bruise her up like that? What transpired behind the scenes that we couldn't see? Compel them to speak both from their soul and their spirit's perspective, keeping absolutely nothing hidden from me. The devil. All right. First and foremost, both of these people are chained to the devil who arranged or who got in the midst to play divine Hova in the situation. Rihanna was signed to Roc Nation, and she still in some way is tied to them contractually. Chris Brown has to fight an eternal blackball. So both of them who are in a relationship are still bound to this situation by a party. They only have one party in common, and that's Jay-Z. So currently, Chris Brown's situation, his blackballish, is because of work that was done by Rihanna's label at the time that it happened. Rihanna's still bound to this too, and probably someone feels entitled to her because of the magic that they pulled to vindicate her. Somebody probably feels like you owe your career to me, not because I signed you, but because I sacrificed Chris Brown for you. You shot up through the stratosphere with my machine behind you afterwards. I'm going to say that obviously one party was more enraged than the other one. In my opinion, that's the male party because the devil is holding a flame to his tail. So the devil made him pay for it, made him burn for what he did. Absolutely, sissy. This devil is an initiate. I'm sorry, an initiate. He's an initiate. This person is a fire sign. This devil is a fire sign. This little red dot here is in the shape of a Hebrew yod. Fire. Divine spark. So it lets me know that this person could be a fire sign, this devil. We know that while the man burned, these are grapes, the woman was fruitful. Her career multiplied. The burning, though, wasn't coincidentally. So the mainstream might not have reacted as harshly for as long as if it wasn't for the flame being fueled by the devil. Challenging Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Chris Brown was supposed to disappear a long time ago. He wasn't supposed to be still able to make money. Because when this devil, when he was at the height of power, or close to the height of power, climbing the ranks of power, based on what he did, Chris wasn't supposed to still be around. My opinion, the devil learned from this situation how to make sure the person disappears. In my opinion, when the devil got another opportunity to run this stunt again, they remembered that if you leave them out there just disgraced and blackballed, they might thrive. So it seems like the devil learned a new trick, got some new resources to employ, some new friends, and ran the same game. Different plot, though, slightly different plot. That was the goal, to make Chris disappear, in my opinion. Past position, they had a relationship. Both of them, this was a natural relationship. It wasn't a PR relationship. The industry didn't put them together. These two loved each other authentically. And the type of love that they had, the type of relationship it gave Bobby and Whitney, and the fact that it was so real and strong between the two of them, nobody was going to be able to sabotage it or come between it. That's a problem, though. That's a problem, though, when you need to be controlled by your boss, but you've fallen in love with the man, especially if your boss is as controlling and obsessive and possessive as a devil. I actually think that Chris Brown was set up. I do. Just based on these three cards, the present position should have showed me the fight that they had, not the plot, not the devil that kind of orchestrated things or moved these two puppets. Now, mind you, Chris Brown and Rihanna was at the beginning of her career. She was newly found to Rock Nation, and I believe Jay-Z sometimes can go into states of obsession behind a new muse. Once he finds a new muse, he kind of, I think, becomes obsessed with them. I think it was like that with Aaliyah. I think he finds a new muse and he wants them and their energy all to himself. He wants to dominate them and complete control of them. He only wants to enjoy the benefits. I think it was like that with Aaliyah, and I think the problem was she kicked him to the curb and she was getting into rooms that he wanted to get into with her without him. I think Beyonce was the same, but she was the only one who didn't look at him and say, boy, bye. I think she became his muse and he became infatuated, obsessed with her and the image of them together and what he could become with her. And yes, he got that with her. But Aaliyah actually, because Beyonce thought that Jay-Z was a boss, Aaliyah felt like she was a boss or the new people she was networking with. Jay-Z was just a rapper. She had new Jewish Hollywood friends. And she was going to walk through those doors and leave him outside the club. I think Rihanna was another muse of his, which is why he threatened her when he signed her, and which is why he's still a little possessive over her, even though she's retired. I believe he made her ride his pogo stick as a way because he's a rich, powerful man giving you the opportunity of your lifestyle. Let me taste that. It's what the industry does. Let me hit that. Let me get that. Let me taste that. Okay. And I think he liked that shit. I think he liked that mango from Trinidad. I mean, Barbados. And I think he entertained Chris Brown. But as they got closer, like really, really close to where Chris Brown would have influence over Rihanna, I think he ain't like that. I think he wanted to drop a dime on that nigga. It's the same dime that I think he dropped on Matthew Knowles when he needed to usurp whoever the king was in Beyonce's life. He has a pattern. He likes women that have a lot of potential, a lot of beauty, and can take him places as long as they submit to him so that they can be the vehicle and he can be the charioteer. Aaliyah did not see him all googly eyed as Beyonce. She's from Texas. They called her country bumpkin. Aaliyah, she got some street smarts to her. She ran through Dame and Jay-Z. She didn't see him like that. She didn't see him as the god that Beyonce did. I think he has a God complex in that you have to, show your honor and appreciation for him and all that he bestows on your life. Even though I think that's even a little insecurity of his, which is why he needs the woman, a strong, powerful woman, to be the vehicle. Did not Beyonce give him a resurgence, a rebirth in his career once they got together? Because Jay-Z ain't really have to rap like that since he became Mr. Beyonce. He hasn't had to really be in the field rapping and maintaining his name and his legacy off of continued work like Beyonce's doing. So he's like a succubus The problem is, if you reject him, this is very feminine. If you reject him, I think he takes it personally. And I think that Rihanna was allowed to fool la la, but not like what her and Chris Brown were falling into. I think once he sunk his teeth in Beyonce and he knew that the time was right, he had that big ego hooked in her. The only thing left was to get Matthew out of the way. You can't compete with a girl's daddy and manager. So yes, I believe he dropped that dime about Matthew stealing from Beyonce. And I believe he set up Chris Brown and Rihanna. Now, I don't know what the setup was. I'll see that in the future and when I clarify the devil. But I think their relationship was sabotaged. And I specifically say that pulling this card. This tells me that they were building something very real, very tangible that other people knew was real. You knew their love was real and it was strong. It gave Whitney and Bobby. That's a problem for someone like Jay-Z. Somebody who calls themselves Jehovah. And Chris Brown or Rihanna walked away. He got what he wanted. And my opinion is this devil. You went from their relationship to the girl having to leave the relationship. While this devil looked on as the benevolent moon, giving her guidance on her path. I know it's tough, but I'll guide you out of this situation into success. It's like he wanted Rihanna to be infatuated with him too and always love him. And once she rebelled with Anti, I don't think he could take that either. The next time she had a real relationship was after she retired with A$AP Rocky. All those other men were playthings. Chris Brown and then A$AP Rocky. And in my opinion, that was strategic on her part. Because she knew this devil wouldn't really be there to see her fall in love or have a real relationship with anybody because he belonged to her. She belonged to him. So I think she strategically Fulalad had little celebrity relationships, flings that were never meant to last. And the minute she retired, she settled down and had babies. I believe Chris Brown was the last real relationship that where love was involved that she's had until A$AP, when she was out of the industry. True love at the beginning, and then at the end, she had babies. Nothing in between then that could come between her and Jay-Z. Not for her part, but for everybody else's safety. I think Jay-Z wouldn't settle for Rihanna being in a real relationship with anybody else, and she probably was trying to protect them. Which is why she was so easy to forgive Chris Brown and empathize with him. This was a decision made for them to break up. Whether it was text messages or something, there was a plot and a plan. They say it was text messages. It might have been, but it was something there was set up. Something was set up. It was a decision made that they would break up, but not an emotional decision. In my opinion, this person was jealous. This person who seems to have all the power, they felt probably like they weren't getting enough of the benefits while Chris Brown was. I think somebody was jealous of Chris Brown. Yep. Yep, I do. Super Bowl or something, Grammys. Chris Brown has never gotten a Grammy, although he deserved one. He just mentioned the NFL needing him for the halftime. That would, both of those would require some benevolence on Jay-Z's part. And here's the fire sign, who to this day is trying not to come off his neck. The problem is that this person in their position of power up on this hill above everybody else is slipping. It's in my opinion that this devil who also sabotaged Chris Brown is slipping from their current position as we speak. They're still in power, but they're losing it, in my opinion. Who could that be? Hopes and fears. In my opinion, this is Rihanna's hopes and fears. She had other flings, which is why they're wands. Nobody serious. No more cups until she left the industry. Her hopes and fears was to not take anybody else seriously so they don't get on this fire sign's bad side. And the outcome of that is she gets to have a family that cannot be touched. Notice it's pentacles. She's back in Barbados, surrounded by her community with her kids, her man, and her family, and they are locked in. They're locked in on some fuck the industry. We'll still be it and move in it on our terms. But our roots are right here in Barbados with our family, in our community, in our home. Her outcome was the Ten of Pentacles. Everybody else is talking about what they want for her in the industry, but she's got something better. The industry could only give her the Ten of Cups. She's got what matters. You guys could never, because you're fans, but if you really liked her as a person, she has what matters and she won. But the sacrifice, in my opinion, was that she had to not fall in love or take anybody serious. She could have very well knew that ASAP Rocky was the one their first go around, but told him, we can't do this right now. Let me look at this devil. Rihanna beat the system. She beat the devil. Y'all have to let her go and stop beating her up for not giving y'all music and for looking like somebody that just had 3 babies back to back, because she won. And she's more oner than a lot of you hoes who are complaining, because y'all don't know what she was up against and what she had to sacrifice while y'all was wishing for her life. She was wishing for yours, for the day she could be free. Free to love who she want, free to dress how she want, free to eat mangoes on the beach as much as she want. She has something that cannot be sabotaged. And it's been tried to be sabotaged. They've been trying to sabotage it. They've been trying to sabotage her since she walked away after Anti and then started a family. Because they know that means she's not coming back if she started a family. So they've been poking at her. Slight chances of sabotage, but nothing that's going to stick. She won. She won. I love that for her. They say things, put things out in the media to try to elicit a response, to try to get people to talk negatively about her. Oh, Rihanna's not a billionaire anymore. Oh, Rihanna was out looking frumpy. I would never. Drake would never. Who else would say something like that other than people from the industry who are angry with her? And see, here's the Jedi mind tricks that I just had in Beyonce. So they still, even Beyonce, they still on that bullshit, pulling tricks and illusions in the media when they doing war and battle behind the scenes so that we can't see it. We can't see how they really move. PR, if I ever saw it. Through PR and the media is how they poke at and sabotage or try to sabotage Rihanna. But she won. I'm supposed to be reading her and Chris Brown. But this is saying, this is telling me they were sabotaged. Let me look at this devil. The Hangman. This is the card I always get for Beyonce when it comes to her hanging in there with Jay-Z, knowing because of their elite position, they'll get out of it. Somebody, and I'm clarifying the devil. So it was the devil, but somebody was hanging around in the background, lurking around the outskirts of their relationship, probably doing some sort of surveillance and spying on Rihanna. I think Jay-Z was spying on Rihanna. I think that it triggered him that she got into this relationship with Chris Brown because they were in love. And I think it made Jay-Z jealous and possessive. So I think he had both of them surveilled in some way. I also think he set that situation up in a way where his hands aren't directly involved, and there are a few hands that you'll have to touch before you get to his. His hands are the ominous presence in the situation. It's less of a weirdo. I know men like that. We know men like that every day that are possessive and obsessive. They usually are violent too. Jay-Z just happens to be a celebrity one. He set it up and then turned everything in Rihanna's favor, put the machine behind Rihanna. And then this is the authorities. This is Chris. Now I know other people heard or saw their altercation. There was something that Chris saw or heard or found out. This is some sort of awareness that Chris had. Crystal clear awareness that made him lose all emotions in that moment. I think it has something to do with her sleeping with Jay-Z. If not her sleeping with Jay-Z, then this is why. This will be Rihanna, the side chick to this Sagittarius card here. This is also possessive, jealousy, violence. Again, I think that Rihanna and Jay-Z either were doing their thing or had done it as a form of initiation into Roc Nation. In my opinion, Jay-Z was smitten by Rihanna, a little possessive over her, and did not like this love relationship that was growing and blooming between Rihanna and Chris Brown. Now, see, here's the argument here. Behind this hangman, Three of Pentacles in reverse. Somebody's staff. They say Chris Brown's manager or somebody sent him a flirtatious text and they got into it and fought. Yes, they both hit each other upside the head. This is both of them going oops upside the head. Ree got an STI and gave it to Chris as a result of, well, and that's why Chris snapped. Sure, but during the awards ceremony, they were buddy-buddy. Did he find that out afterwards? Did he find that out while they were in the car? This is definitely the argument and fight. This, though, I would have need to see a wand, another wand, if it was just an STD. I do not believe that they would have fought over an STD in the industry. No, no. Everybody has them. It's literally almost like a rite of passage. Well, here's one. Could be. He could have gave her something. But I mean, she could have gave him something. No, this is whatever it was. I believe it was a lie. This justice in reverse, and it came from this Sagittarius in reverse. In my opinion, Chris was a victim in this situation. This is probably the first time y'all will ever hear that because Rihanna was the physical victim. In my opinion, Chris was the psychological victim. And I believe there were plenty people involved in whatever this setup was, and all of them had this person behind it. It was a rumor or a lie, something that was false, but in the moment caused them to fight like that. What is this justice in reverse? More knights. I got Jay-Z and wands and fire energy. This is sex. The world in reverse. Sex or won't sign. Sex or won't sign. I think what they fought about has something to do with Jay-Z. Because behind this justice card, the big lie is that it was plenty of rumors. The Chris Brown assistant flirtatious text, the STD rumor, which one of those was it? My opinion was that somehow Chris found out that Rihanna was fucking. In my opinion, because all of this is my opinion, Jay-Z. And he probably found out that it's been going on for a while. Like probably from around the time she got signed to Jay-Z. And if Chris found that out, then he was supposed to find out. She probably had to agree to that before he would sign her. Fucking before we can sign you successfully. Thank you, Celebrity Tarot. I think that Rihanna was concerned about Beyonce when that proposition came, but she accepted. I think she was concerned about J and B, about B specifically, but she accepted. Yep, the sign or out of the window issue. I don't think that's the only thing that she had to deal with. That was a joke. I don't think she thought that he would really do that, and he didn't. She's making light of the fact that there were real ultimatums on the table that had nothing to do with business. What she won't say is that I had to sleep with him or I wouldn't get signed. That out the window or stuff, that's a joke. But the sex, I believe, was a part of the deal. Y'all remember early in the days, there was some kind of video clips of Rihanna engaged in group sex with multiple men on a boat in her early days of being signed. I remember because I saw them, but you had to be there. And they were saying they were Rock Nation crew members or entourage members. I also think that Jay-Z is possessive, and so there lies the issue. I think they were able to come back and date again after that, not because of an STI or Chris Brown's manager, but because Chris Brown understood. I think after all the chaos boiled down of him first finding out that Rihanna might have been cheating with Jay-Z, he later came to realize it wasn't cheating like that. Bitch, I couldn't even be here if I wasn't doing that. And as another member of the industry, I think that they both were able to let bygones be bygones because it wasn't like she just was sleeping with him because she wanted to. I think Chris came to realize that's what it was. So boom, that's what I got from looking into the Chris Brown and Rihanna situation. I think it came out that she was messing with Jay-Z, but in a way where it would look like, or he would obviously think, oh, you cheating on me with that ninja, your boss? When really, it was, I kind of had to, or I wouldn't be here. All right, so I'm about to go. It's 4:30. I'll see my members in the inner courts at 7:30. Okay. Love you guys. See the rest of you guys, not tomorrow, because we're taking my mother out to a vineyard and to brunch. So Sunday, I'll be back. You're welcome, celebrity.